Hi there, thanks for stopping by. In today's video we're going back to our slow stitch project. I'm going to be showing you how to add some extra color and shapes using stencils, as well as show you two stitches. The first is the Basque Knot, and we're also going to be looking at Sorbello Stitch. So let's get started. Today I'm working on my slow stitch scroll again. So in the last video I showed you how to make some different flowers using the Yorkshire loom to add to your slow stitching. I have not added any others yet. Instead, what I've done is I've added squares of different eco-dyed fabric I've made over the years. I do tend to quite like doing this like once a year. And so I've just taken patches of it and randomly placed. I've not done anything fancy with the stitching at this point. I've literally just tacked it into place. In some instances with the thread from the edge, because I know that I'm going to add a lot of other stitching and I don't really want at this point straight edges or anything clashing with what I'm doing. I will probably add more. I do have some with, I'm sure I have some with more yellows in it. If I haven't, maybe that's a project for the spring to do some more eco dyeing. So today what I wanted to do was add some more background and start on perhaps one or two stitching bits over the top of it, just to get myself into what I'm going to do. I want it to sort of be cohesive, but really just as a sampler. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use our embroidery stencils, which is the scrolls set. We do also have a paisley stencil, which I'm sure I will be using at some point in this project, but not today. These were actually designed to go particularly with our Elizabethan stamps, so that you can draw out scrolls, particularly if you're working with the different braided stitches that are common on embroidery, and then just extra bits and pieces. So what I want to do is place down primarily some leaves, and then I'll go back over and just probably do a few scrolls just to get me started. But I want to add some leaves so that I can add some bits and pieces of color, and I want green on this. I want lots of different greens and yellows to complement with this purple. So I thought that I would start and I would use some Inktense pencils. Now, obviously I can just draw onto this, and I could use just about anything I wanted to, and any color pencils really, because this is never going to be washed. But I do like the Inktense pencils for the extra sort of actually intensity of them, and I know a lot of people do use them on fabrics. So I am going to, I've got a little spray bottle here, and I'm just going to spray a little bit of water on the sections. Then I'm going to choose a leaf and choose a color and basically just fill in. And if I want to brighten, the reason that I've put the water down is because it just makes the colors pop a little bit more. And then I'm going to be random with this. And the nice thing about a stencil is you can turn it round so that obviously you can have a different color, your leaves facing in a different way. And I'm not being too sort of precise, I just want to get bits and pieces down. Let's see. Quite like that shape. And I'm going to try some of them working over. Yeah, that is damp. Working over the two different types of fabric. Let's see what we come up with that way. Now obviously this is giving me more precise shapes, but I could always expand on that by spraying again and getting a brush involved, and you could blur those lines out a little bit if you wanted to. So it really just depends on what you want to achieve with it. Now I think I'll add a little bit of a scroll as well. Over here, I haven't actually dampened the fabric, so the effect should, in theory, change. And it'll become a little lighter. So it just gives me some areas as guidelines. The other thing that you can do with the stencils is to simply outline. So using a pencil to give you shapes as well. So that will help you be able to work filling stitches and so on. I absolutely love outline stitches and border stitches. I don't know, perhaps it's the repetitive nature of them and the fact that you often find yourself getting better as you go. Perhaps that's what it is that I like about them. So I'm going to start on this very first scroll, and I'm going to work what's called a Basque Knot Stitch in Mary Thomas's dictionary. I am going to start with a very small knot, and I'm using number 8 pearl cotton. I like knots. This is for me. It doesn't matter. You can use a knot or not as you wish. You could use a waist knot, but I think for something for slow stitching, you don't have to worry so much. It's supposed to be about what makes you feel good, as opposed to sort of something really pretty. If I was doing, a really nice picture or opus anglicanum or a nice sort of thread painting, then I would be more concerned about knots and not having knots. But for a slow stitch piece, which to my mind is a learning and developing and enjoying piece, no need. So I've placed a little knot, and then I'm going to come at a slight, I haven't done this stitch in a long time, so if I mess up the first few times, so I'm going to come at a slight diagonal, and this is where you want the knot to actually be, okay, just on your line. And then I'm going to come up and take my thread So directly underneath that and come up. And I don't want that stitch too tight, okay? And now I'm going to come up through that diagonal, okay, over, and then again. So I'm making a little loop, and then again through the diagonal again, which will make basically a little half hitch, and then that knots the thread, and then bring it up to where the top is. That's sort of your new diagonal. So I'll come just below my line, up, over, and under that first stitch, up, under again, needle over that this time, and then down just above your line. So I'm making it quite close, and so you don't sort of see the spikes either side, but you can work this with spikes. So you want to spread out and come farther away. Work again and pull a little. Work again. Oops. Got caught there and so pulled off of my needle. Knot. And then bring that farther out. So as you can see, I'm starting to get a little bit of a spike. Okay, so let's exaggerate that again. So I'll come even further away from my line, around, and I'm going to pull that loose stitch sort of onto the line so that when I create the knot, so I've gone up, around again, the knot forms at the line and then it's got two spikes. So then up again, let's exaggerate the top one a little bit more as well. And I'll come even farther down for the bottom. So around, underneath that stitch, pull, around, underneath that stitch, over that one, pull. So that's a really nice stitch to use for added texture. Because I want to show you another stitch for this video, but I will continue working this one for this section, I'm going to take the needle back where it should go, and then I'm just going to bring my thread over and put it loosely through at the back. That will keep it out of the way of the next thing that I work, but enable me to keep going. Also, if I wanted to start another thread or another color, that would be a good way of doing it, because you can place the knot on that slight diagonal stitch. I'll just show you this stitch from its side. And you can see the texture that it adds as well. So that's a really nice stitch to include. The next stitch that I'm going to show you is a filling stitch, and I'm going to work it on this scrap piece a little larger. On my piece, I'm going to sort of dot it about, but quite small. This is called Sorbello Stitch, and apparently originally it was often worked with white thread on an unbleached linen, so that sounds quite lovely actually. So I will probably use for this a fairly similar sort of colour, so it just kind of adds texture but not sort of too much. So what you need to do is you imagine a square. So as I said, I'm going to be working this fairly large so that you can see what I'm doing. I've come up and I'm going to go straight across. That would be the top of the square, okay? And now I'm coming down at the bottom left of the square. And then I'm going to go under. And sort of loop around, just bear with me, just sort of hold that there. And we're going to go under from the top this time. And again, what we're creating is a little hitch. There, pulling it down and then come up where the next one goes. So it's like a knotted cross stitch. So then as you get a little smaller, so underneath from below, bring the thread around and then go underneath the line from above. And that top line, don't pull it too tightly because you want to be able to take the whole thing down to create your little knotted cross. So you can see how when it becomes smaller, it actually does work better. But if you work them as rows, you can work them quite close to each other. And so again, straight across, not too tight, bottom left, up from under, around, over and under, into that loop, pull down onto the bottom cross. I just love that stitch. I love the texture that it adds, and so I'm going to fill a section here over the next couple of days with that and finish off this swirl. Now that the fabric has dried, you can see how laying down with a very saturated area, the colors have bled a little bit, whereas where I didn't spray a couple of times, I've got a sharper edge. So all of that is going to be really helpful for working the stitches around it. So thanks very much for watching. I hope that inspired you a little bit, perhaps taught you a couple of new stitches that you've not tried. I know this is a short video this week. Next week I will be working on another one of the brooch designs from the Needlewoman magazine. So until then, do please click like, hit subscribe, all the other things, leave me a little comment. Love to hear from you. And until the next time, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.